Hi everyone, it's Agnes, and I've got a viewer request from Addie T. Addie, you said it will be awesome if you can do a video on clarifying co-creation with others. How can others purely photocopy your thoughts and beliefs in interpersonal interactions? Aren't they bringing their own beliefs to it? If a past relationship didn't work, isn't it partly because of their thoughts, beliefs about themselves, about relationships, and about love too? You can change yourself, but if they have not self-reflected and improved themselves too, how can they come back even if you project the improved vibe? Doesn't their vibe need to change too? They may receive the improved projected vibe from you and even feel differently about you, but their thoughts and beliefs about love relationships cannot be expected to change. So how does it work in relationships really? Not just romantic, but all kinds. Not just clear. Still not clear on this one. I think that's why people struggle more about applying this in relationships than anything else. It is not clear how your projection can affect other people's lifelong beliefs, and then it goes into free will territory. Would appreciate your take on this. Okay, not the simplest of questions or the simplest of answers. So let me see if I can go through this step by step and explain it to you. How can others purely photocopy your thoughts and beliefs in interpersonal interactions? Aren't they bringing their own beliefs into it? People do have their own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, obviously, and they're creating in their own bubble. Okay, you're creating in your own bubble, and they're creating in their own bubble. So, but remember, when you say you can change yourself, but if they have not self-reflected, see, that's the contents of your consciousness. But if they haven't self-reflected, that's your opinion, that's your belief, that's your feeling, that's your thought, okay? So can you see that that actually comes from you? That's how you interpret them, okay? How can they come back even if you've projected the improved vibe? Because everything is you, okay? Everything is you. Everything around you, from your money to your relationship with your mum, to your relationship with your dog, to your relationship with your bank account, to your relationship with your job. Everything is you, okay? So, and in their life, everything is them. So they have their own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in their own quantum bubble, and they project that out, whether it's conscious or unconscious. Same as us, we've been doing the law of attraction and, looking into all this stuff on YouTube and learning and all that stuff. But whether you're conscious about something or unconscious about something, it still creates, okay? So let me just go back a bit. How can they come back even if you project the improved vibe? Well, Neville talks a lot about thought transmission and how you activate something within someone through what you project onto them. I'm going to actually put the link down below for the YouTube that I did about prayer, the art of believing, and Neville talks about that, and I tried to, as best I can, explain it, read what Neville was talking about and explain it in simple English. Okay, so that might help you a little bit as well. So they may receive the improved projected vibe from you and even feeling differently about you, but their thoughts and beliefs about love, about relationships, cannot be expected to change. Okay, but you see, that's again your interpretation. It's not necessarily, they can be expected to change, because how they show up in front of you is, again, remember, it's your hologram, it's the contents of your consciousness, and it goes out, and then they appear to you in that state. They appear to someone else in another state. Yes, they do have their own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about relationships, about love, about connecting with you. So if they're projecting onto you, she's so needy or he's so needy, and I never get enough time to myself, then you're going to be needy and in longing, and you're going to show up as that projection, which you think and feel is just about you and how you are, but there is their projection of it towards you as well. So yeah, there's the co-creation, if you want to say it like that. So yeah, rewinding a bit, their thoughts, beliefs about love and relationships cannot be expected to change. But okay, so I would say, yes, their thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about love relationships can change, depending on what you are doing on your end about them. Okay, so their thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about love and relationships, about you, about the relationships in their lives can change. I'll give you an example. This will make it a little bit easier. I remember, and this was like, anyway, I won't go into that because it'll confuse you. There was a man, and this was in a Neville book, okay? There was a man who was working in a school, and the whole school was having trouble with this particular student, okay? Now, the husband, being in the school and dealing with this problem and dealing with the mother and the grandmother of this child, and they were camping out at the school, and they were being a real nightmare. So the wife, who is the third party in this situation, decides that she is going to help her husband and project onto the situation a revision, and that she would see the situation the way her husband wanted it, which was that he was a good child, that he was easy to work with, he was easy to teach, that the mother and the grandmother had moved on, and that the situation was resolved. So she did this night after night and projected that onto her husband's situation, okay? So what ended up happening was, that's exactly what happened. She wasn't the contents of her husband's consciousness at the time was, this child's difficult, the grandmother and the mother are here, they're annoying the whole school, they wanted to move him on to another school. So she actually assisted the teachers and the school and the child and the mother and the grandmother through her imaginal scenes, okay? So what she did was, she dissolved within her the part of her that created that. Now you could easily say, but she didn't create that. But the thing is, when something comes in front of you, whether it's through somebody else, which in this case was her husband, you are directly involved, you see. Even though you're not right in the school, you are involved because you're hearing your husband talk about it, you're being involved in it and all that stuff. So it activates feelings in her. So what she did was, rather than keep going with the problem in her head and the problem in her feeling of, obviously, feeling her husband's, angst and difficulty in this situation, she decided to change what she was doing and change the situation, and that was exactly what happened. It ended up being the end result that she had imagined, okay? So, in that situation, the grandmother, the mother, the boy, and the father were all contributing to this problem situation. Now, the wife, being kind of removed a little bit, was able to contribute to the situation in a positive way, and she called up within herself the solution, projected it out, revised it. Whether she talked to her husband about it or not, I don't know. It wasn't included in the story, but she directly influenced, irregardless of what the boy was thinking, irregardless of what the mother and grandmother were thinking, irregardless of what the husband was thinking. She directed her mind in a different way. So, yes, other people contribute to things. Like in this case, obviously everybody was contributing to, this kid is a difficult child. He doesn't learn. He disrupts everybody else. Then the husband's trying to deal with it. Then the teachers are trying to deal with it. And it was a nightmare. So they're creating in their own quantum bubbles, as you can see. And then one person comes up with a solution, and does some solution imaginal acts, solution imaginal thinking, solution imaginal affirming. So she did a few different things and then the result changed. So I just thought I'd share that with you because, as we said, it's not just in romantic relationships, it is also in other relationships in our lives. So let me go back to what you were saying. If a past relationship didn't work, isn't it partly because of their thoughts, beliefs about themselves, about the relationships, and about love too? Well, I would say yes. And also how they showed up in front of you was a combination between the two people's stuff. Okay? You can change yourself, but if they haven't self-reflected and improved themselves too, which is your interpretation and version of them, then how can they come back even if you project an improved vibe? Well, they can, and the story I just talked about shows you exactly how. Doesn't their vibe need to change too? Well, you can change a whole relationship on your own. And, all you got to do is listen to the success stories. There's, I think, 11, how to get a specific ex back. You can see how one person changed their end and completely cleaned up what was going on within them, and then it changed the relationship. Did the other person change? They did, through the power of influence, okay? And through thought transmission, which will be the YouTube I post down below for you to get a little bit more info about that. Okay. So let me just go down. I think I went backwards a little bit. So how does it work in relationships, not just romantic, but of all kinds? Still not clear on this one. I think that's why people struggle more about applying this in relationships than anything else. It's not clear how your projection can affect other people's lifelong beliefs. And then it goes into free will territory. Well, in terms of free will, see, we think we have free will. And technically we do, but what happens is you're affected by your childhood thoughts, feelings, and beliefs from your parents, from your teachers, from your church, from your aunties and uncles, from anyone that was around you when you were little. You're watching all of this and you're learning by default. So you technically have free will, but really do you? Because all you're doing is you're on automatic pilot and still until you start to learn and look at the law of attraction and learn about it and look at your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs and then start working on it. And then even when you start working on it, as a lot of you know, it is quite challenging to change certain beliefs about certain subjects. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit. It isn't an easy answer. Like it really isn't an easy answer, but I hope that story illustrates a little bit. And also, excuse me, I'm back in London and still a little bit recovering from coming back from France. So, yeah, I hope that gives you a little bit of understanding, because you're looking at free will, you're looking at other people, like what about their thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, how does that impact on you, how does that impact on themselves. So I understand that this is a really big question. It's not just a little question, it's a really big question. So yes, we all have thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that impact on the outside, but through changing yourself, yes, you can influence and change another person. And also, they can do, obviously, the work on themselves. Whether they choose to or not is up to them. But you can do a really big amount of work on you in relation to how you see them, in relation to, I remember there was another story that Neville told about, I'm not sure if it was Neville or it was about a person writing their story in a Neville book, but there was a man who walked along the road and this guy saw him, and the guy that saw him is telling the story, and he said, I saw this man and he looked homeless and he asked me for money, and he said I refused him. And he said he walked away and he had this pain in his stomach because he felt like awful for not helping this guy. And it ended up that obviously he didn't see him again. He walked off. He had this pain in his stomach. And what he said to himself was, I didn't give him the money. I feel really bad. Now I'm going to revise this situation how I want it to be. So he revised it where he saw the guy walking towards him wearing nice clothes, that he was clean and that he looked like he had money and that he had a job and that he was in a good, obviously, from the way he looked, he was in a good state because this guy was, looking quite rough around the edges, didn't look like he'd showered for a while, and he was looking like he didn't have a job or money. So the period of time passes and he sees the guy again. And the guy says to him, do you remember me? And the man that's telling the story says, yes, I do. And, the guy that looked like he was homeless said, I just want to thank you for the fact that the day I asked you for money, you actually refused me. And it was from that day, I basically was saying I changed. And the next day I got a job and got myself out of that state. And he said, if you had given me the money and helped me, I would have stayed where I was. So this particular guy got confirmation of his revision. Now, you don't always get confirmation. I mean, what was great about this story was that he actually did get confirmation, and it was a wonderful thing to be able to tell the story later. So, yeah, there's many layers to this, many layers to this, and I hope this is explained a little bit, especially, how other people create in their own quantum bubble, how you create in your own quantum bubble. Obviously, people are projecting stuff about you onto you. You're projecting stuff about people onto them. Before you learn how to change it, and then after you do learn about the law of attraction, you project new things, so then you get a different version of people. And I know, because I've coached a lot of you, email coached a lot of you, and also a lot of you have sent in success stories, which I've read, you can see the results of the effort. You can see the results of changing, I remember Neville saying, right, don't rob someone of being the best that they can be by holding them in this state of homelessness or poverty or, being overweight or, whatever it is you see the problem and then you go, right, no, and you project onto them the way you want it to be. And, I know my mum actually did that for me when I was really, really struggling in not having a great job at the time. I think I was in my 20s or 30s, and also projecting onto me that I had a wonderful, that I was happy and I felt loved. I know my mum projected that onto me because she told me years later. She didn't use the word projection. She just said she went to bed and prayed and saw me in a much better state. So my own mum did that for me. Did I know about it at the time? No. Did it help? Definitely. It was an incredible projection. And I know she did it night after night after night. And my mum also reads Neville. So, it's no new information to her. So, yeah, I hope that helps a little bit, Addie T. And, we can have a bit of a chat in the thread about it because this is a huge subject. Huge. And it's not something you can answer in a couple of sentences. So I hope breaking it down and going through your questions step by step has helped a little bit. And that you can, like you said, a lot of people are kind of wondering about this, especially in relationships, on the subject of relationships. So I'll put the prayer thought transmission thingy down in the description to help you. And if I think of anything else that I've seen or read, Neville or Abraham Hicks or whatever, I'll pop that down in the description as well. I'll have to give it a little bit of thought because of the kind of enormity of this question. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.